Good morning and welcome. It's exciting to be back here a second year to give an update on PolarisAR. I'm Paul Mikus, co-founder and CEO of PolarisAR. We're taking advantage at Polaris of a trend we see in orthopedic robotic systems where they're being miniaturized to offset the kind of complexity and the footprint in total joint robotic procedures. And they're being moved to agnostic to implants so that they can be used with all implants on the marketplace. We like this trend so much at Polaris, we decided to continue it by eliminating the need for the robot altogether and continuing to make it available to all implants on the marketplace. So I'm excited to share that with you today. A little bit about the company. We're about coming up on 5 years old, and in that 5 years, we've been able to build a platform technology, build a product, get it FDA cleared, do a beta launch in 2024 of that technology. We were actually here last year when our first procedures were being done at Columbia University. We're really excited about the results of that beta launch, and we're now in full commercial launch as of the beginning of this year. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about mixed reality as an opportunity to provide robotic-like accuracy, agnostic to implant, without the cost or footprint of that technology, and why that makes a compelling business case and really a limitless opportunity from a data-driven solution approach into the marketplace. So what do we mean by real-time data exchange changing everything? Well, the lower right-hand image is a robotic system in the marketplace, and all robotics generally work the same way. There's an optical tracking device on the right, cameras that are going to be the GPS to move where the end effector of the robot's going to go in the procedure. So the information's going to drive the robot. What Polaris does, and what we're the only ones who have been able to do this, is to take a mixed reality headset, which is about this big, and use those cameras to derive the same information that drives a robot, but we use it to empower the surgeon instead. So think about that, a data-driven solution delivered directly to the surgeon that keeps them in complete control of the procedure. How do we do that? I'm going to show you 3 videos here. It's a 3-step process. We use the technology to measure the anatomy. We use the technology then to allow the surgeon to plan the procedure real-time, intraoperatively and dynamically. And then we use that plan to guide the instrumentation to the same spot that a robot would deliver the resection instruments to. So it looks a little bit like this. In each of these images, you're going to see the live surgeon shot and then what they're seeing through the headset. The mixed reality headset is a holographic display where we're not just measuring the information, but we're also driving the information for utilization. So this is on the right here, Dr. Cooper using a stylus to take real-time intraoperative anatomical measurements in sub-millimeter precision. In the top, you'll see the data acquisition and the lines or the points that are being drawn on the anatomy itself. That information is then fed into a planning process that takes the surgeon less than 2 minutes to actually achieve. They're going to basically plan the resection planes that'll correspond to the placement of the implant. They'll be done in depth and angle, again in sub-millimeter precision. And then once that plan is achieved and to the surgeon's satisfaction, and notice the idea that there's a data exchange going on between the surgeon and the anatomy. And so the surgeon has complete control of the procedure here. That information is then fed into, you will see on the left-hand side, I want to make sure I got my left and right here, a green line and a white line there where the lines are going to converge, plan to actual, right? So our system actually just dings. They're dialing in on the right side there in sub-millimeter increments to get to the right spot. You pin the resection guides, you make the cuts into place. The same information driving the surgeon that drives a robot without the complexity or the cost of a robot in the procedure. What does that mean from a business standpoint and a market opportunity? Well, the first application's in total knee arthroplasty, which is about 1 million procedures per year, and that has about 3 segments in the marketplace. The first segment's the robotic applications, which are about 30+% of the marketplace. There's a smaller segment of the marketplace which shows an interesting trend in the marketplace for computer navigation, and then finally a manual instrumentation segment. In the robotic applications, The benefit is mapping, planning, accuracy, and implementation of the plan, and soft tissue balancing. We do all three of these. The cost of a robot is its footprint, meaning its size, its cost of acquisition, its ongoing cost, and most systems are implant specific. So the big implant companies have a robot that only works with their implant, which makes it complex for the hospital system or the surgeons to get access to the robot. The trend that we were talking about, not just in miniaturizing robots themselves or being agnostic to implant, but in computer navigation, this technology is actually older than robotics, about 15 years old, has seen a renaissance in the last 2 to 3 years. And that renaissance is actually being driven by about 20+% procedural growth per annum, mostly because people are looking for alternatives to robots. So we can see what we call robot fatigue in the marketplace. It's actually a term that large IDN hospitals have told to us. The cost, complexity, and acquisition to get to a robot is creating some fatigue in the marketplace. Most of the marketplace is looking for that answer, and still the majority of the marketplace is in manual instrumentation. So the ability to deliver precision and accuracy and control and intraoperative planning is still open to the majority of the marketplace, and we see this as a really positive trend. So if we were to summarize our opportunity in the first application of our product, we'd say that we have robot-like accuracy with the footprint, cost, and imageless agnostic to implant approach that you would normally see in manual instrumentation or computer navigation. So we fit into a workflow and a process that's more familiar to the majority of the marketplace, and we do so at a price and an accessible point where the demand is been generated and demonstrated really in our first beta launch series. The strategic value of our platform is the idea that we can deliver our approach to both hospitals and ASCs in a way where they can get access to it, buy the best implant at the best price without worrying about attaching that to an enabling technology. Our commercial strategy is relatively simple. We have a per procedure recurring revenue stream on our disposable single-use marker kits. So it's about $1,000 per kit. We deliver that where the capital equipment is either consigned or acquired at a relatively low cost. For us, from a business standpoint, a 5% market penetration is simply 500 customers doing 100 procedures per annum. So that's something that's already been demonstrated in the computer nav marketplace. We see this as an opportunity for us to exceed that, but that puts us at about $50 million in the next 3 to 5 years. We expect the company to not only achieve this, but to get to cash flow positive within the next 2 years of growth. The beta launch. So the update for LSI and our opportunity to be here, and we're appreciative of that, is that we're seeing large academic institutions and IDN starting to either approve or adopt our technology. We expect to get to about 10% of our 500 customer market base by the end of this year, early next year. So we've seen quite a reception to the product, quite a reception from the surgeon standpoint, and quite a reception from the facility standpoint. We're not a total knee company, we're a platform company. And this is where we think limitlessness applies. We're a data exchange, real time in spatial computing. And that applies to other joints and other orthopedic applications. And what we're excited about is not just the future in total knee arthroplasty and bringing mixed reality to bear, but the ability for us to take this precise technology into other applications in orthopedics. We're appreciative of the opportunity to come here and provide an update. We look forward to doing that again next year, where we can report on the first full year of commercial launch this year and the success we're having in the marketplace. We thank you for the opportunity.